Okay. Farid joined my batch program, and today he cleared, actually, last night, he cleared with all above target. I want to put a very important thing into the context. Guys, when you have to do multiple things, your job, your things, and continuously working on your way, this is the way to do the PMP. I get a lot of people that they say, we are busy, so we cannot do PMP right now. No, 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 no. You are busy, so this is the right time to do PMP. So Farid is basically from USA, and he joined my batch program. We started working on it, and step by step, we kept on working, and finally here we are with certified PMP. Farid, why don't you share your journey in your own way?
Sure. Yeah. So I applied for the PMP last October, but as you mentioned, I was so busy, I had no time to coordinate my training. So actually my father, he finished his PhD last year and he used a lot of your videos on YouTube and he referred me to your training program and I investigated it this summer. My plan was to complete it by the summer. I investigated it in June. I contacted you. You right away contacted me. You laid out the roadmap, and I liked what you had to offer, and I joined. And I'm so glad that I joined because you worked with my schedule, my dynamic schedule with children, with work. I just had no time in the evenings or in the weekdays, but you didn't let that deter you, and you kept engaging me and interacting and encouraging, and without that I don't think I would have been able to do it. So I think your bespoke way of this program allowed me to complete my journey.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's talk about the exam a little bit. Okay, how was the exam? Like first section, second, third, which took more time?
I'm very happy that you gave me the exam tips to break down the times for first, second, and third section, because if I didn't do that, I think I would have went over. So each section I did about 75 minutes. I had 5 minutes left over. The first section I found the most difficult. It was longer questions, a lot of wording. I'm an English speaker, but even for me, it was difficult to determine what they were asking for. So I had to read it over a few times, and I'm also glad you taught us the elimination technique. Take your time, breathe. I did a lot of that, and the first section was very difficult relative to the other two sections. The second section, after maximizing my break, was I breezed through it. I had about maybe 10 minutes left over, so like around 85-minute mark, and yeah, the 85-minute mark, I have about 2 or 3 questions I marked for review. But the second section was shorter questions. You can find the keywords very quickly. You can generally understand what it's asking. And the third section was more people and process oriented, but not as difficult as the first section for me. And I was able to get through it. The main thing was to keep my nerves and my pace and not to get overexcited and kind of rush through to finish.
Yeah, that's a good point that we need to look into that, how you are able to get into that. Like, I really like, don't rush into the things, because rushing can cause you like panic, and especially when the questions are coming challenging, it can be problematic. So yeah, I totally agree with that second what you said. Okay, so how many formula question and critical path question came there?
So I would say critical path, probably a grand total of maybe 4 or 5 critical path. But in terms of formula, there was a question about PERT. I think there was one question about PERT. There was some 1 or 2 questions about estimation. And to be honest, I spent more time on those questions and I marked them from review. There was one CPI question, but it was worded very strangely. It was, they indicated the CPI of the first 50% of the progress of the project. Tell us what CPI you need to maintain for the second half of the project. And, since it's 50%, if you want to maintain, it's essentially the same, hopefully, if it's successful. So it's kind of like the wording can throw you off and cause you to overthink it. And when I reviewed it again, I understood, after I took my eyes off of it and I reviewed it at the end, I understood it was actually asking something simple. I was just overthinking it.
Okay, that is important thing to look into that. And that's a great lesson for those people who are going to give the exam in few days. Like, we need to understand the context of the question, how the questions are pushing, and how we can look into that pattern way, that is it this way or that way. And of course, elimination technique did help. So Farid, you did had a lot of time. You were in your meetings when we had question answer session. So how many coaching calls did you join, and how they helped you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is tremendous. I think being immersed in the coaching calls and the lessons, all of it helped me. Probably in the total coaching calls, I probably joined maybe close to 10, maybe 9, 8, 7 to 10.
Okay.
And I think how it helped me, it's more about the mentality, right? So after a certain point, I think everything just converged, especially during the last week of preparations with the mocks and the practice tests, and then joining your calls and the marathon and all these things. What clicked was that there's no way you can memorize these questions, and the questions are not going to be exactly on the same on the exam. It's more about the mentality. And because of your coaching calls and your reinforcement of the mentality of how to think like a PM, a servant leader, an agile leader, I was able to answer these situational questions that I've never seen in the practices. But because of the practices and the immersion, I was able to deduce what it was asking and hopefully get the right answer.
Yeah. So we need to look into that, how we can look into this and how we can do that. How would you rate my follow-up system?
Yeah, without your follow-up system, I don't think I would be able to do this, because there's been times where I couldn't do studies for maybe a week or two for family or work problems, but you followed up every day on the progress, and that intrinsically motivated me to also deliver for you and for myself, obviously. But without the follow-up system, I would not be able to be consistent with myself and with the program. And I think it's the major service that you offer that's different from any other service.
Okay, that's a very important thing that we need to look into, that how we can understand this thing and understand the context of the students. But I understand from your point of view, like every person learn at a different pace. So as a consultant, I need to identify what is your best way and to guide you into that pattern way. Yeah, and I'm really happy that I was able to do that the most possible way. Okay. A very important thing, how important it is to do the root cause analysis of question answers. You are a very busy professional. So doing the root cause analysis take times. So what would you say, how important it is to the root cause analysis?
It was critical. It was critical. Every root cause analysis for each lesson that we did, you didn't let me get to the mock exams until I did those, and I'm happy that you did that, and you followed up about it as well. So without the root cause analysis, I wouldn't have the fundamental foundation to take the exam and understand all the keywords, the vocabulary, the processes. So I would say that's the number one fundamental aspect before we start honing the exam taking skills. So I think it was critical.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that you would like to add to the people who are going to give the exam in few days?
Yeah, I think for sure practice and trust in Amir's system and all his materials. Don't, try to understand the questions and the answers rather than just trying to absorb verbally or verbatim. Try to understand the concepts more, because they try to trick you in the PMP sometimes. And I think overall you are going to get more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So consistency, I was able to be consistent for the last 3 weeks, but I was pretty inconsistent for the first 4 weeks. But the consistency really pays off. And let Amir guide you, so you don't have to spend time looking for resources and materials. And And with all of that, especially the last week of preparation, take it very seriously. Try to do everything that's necessary before you go into the exam, and just trust in your preparation. When I was taking the exam, I had doubt in some of my answers, but it turned out to be the correct answers.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time, and thank you. I understand today you are going to have a celebration, but I thank you for taking time to record your journey. For it, as your father did, each one teach one is the mantra of the game. Okay, if we can help one person, this chain keeps on moving. So I expect the same from your side, that you can keep that chain moving, and we can keep working on this way. And one more thing, I would request you to make 10 PMP questions. In PMP Marathon, the questions are already made by certified PMPs. So looking forward for those 10 questions whenever you have time, maybe in this weekend or whenever you get the time. With that, Farid, thank you very much. And I wish you all the best of luck for future.
Thank you, Amir. Keep doing what you're doing. It's a great thing you're doing.